Good morning, everyone. Apologies for that short delay. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Tablelands Regional Council Ordinary Meeting for July. Could I remind everyone to either turn your devices off or on to silent, please? Do we have any apologies today? Could I ask everyone to be upstanding, please? I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we meet on today and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. While we're standing, we'll observe a minute's silence as a mark of respect for the members of our community who have recently passed. We wish their family and friends peace and comfort during this challenging time. Thank you. That brings us to item 6, declarations of any interest by councillors and or senior council officers. Councillor Barty.
Yes, I'd just like to inform the meeting that in relation to item 11.2, the funding agreement with Tourism Atherton Tablelands, that I am a shareholder in an entity that has a director in common with Tourism Atherton Tablelands, but under the definition of prescribed and declarable conflicts of interest, my shareholding is not the required threshold to constitute either a declarable or a prescribed conflict of interest, and I intend to remain in the ring for the discussion for the vote.
Thanks, Councillor Barty. Councillors, anyone else have any declarations? No, thank you. Item 7, confirmation of the minutes of the special budget meeting of the 26th of June. Could I have a mover and seconder that those minutes be accepted as a true and accurate record? Councillor Barty moving and Councillor Spanos seconding. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Second confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting of the 26th of June 2025. Can I have a mover that those minutes be accepted as a true and accurate record? Councillor Bilney and Councillor Barty. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 8. Business arising actions out of the minutes of the previous meeting. Were there any? There weren't, Jackie. Thank you. Councillors, is there anything from the floor? Councillor Cardew?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I just noticed in the minutes there was an error, typo error in one of the motions. I just having difficulty finding that minute.
It was the advisory committee one.
It was the one where Councillor Barty had voted against it, and the score was 6-0. 6-1. I just can't handle it.
It's in the advisory committee one.
Oh, the advisory committee one. That's what it was.
And no one had a conflict, so it would have been all 7 in the room.
I definitely voted against it. Yeah. I didn't.
I
sorry, so it wasn't raised at the last ICM.
No, this they've just done.
Within confidential, 16.1.
Yeah. I'm happy to fix it. We might need to fix it.
Yes, it says it in writing just on the numbers.
16.1, 6.1, 6.1 instead of 16.
Yeah, okay. So will we have to bring that back to the next meeting to get that
So 7.2.
Yep.
7.2, so rather than deal with it at 8, we might just discuss it, go back to 7.2, so we're not confirming the minutes, that there was an error in the minutes, and it should be 61, not 60. Is that correct?
Do we know the order number?
Yeah, it's 16.1.
And then you can just confirm with that minor change,
Yes.
and then you can go to this.
Yeah, I saw it.
So councillors, what we've done, we've just done a correction, but because we had already adopted the minutes as a true record, we'll just have to vote on that again, that we proposing a change to item 16.1 so that the vote is recorded is changed to 6.1, and that was councillor Barty, the 1. So if everyone is happy with that amendment, can we have a mover that we amend the minutes of that ordinary council meeting to change that voting record from 6.0 to 6.1? Yep. Councillor Spenos is moving, and a seconder. Councillor Cardew is seconding. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Okay, was there any other business arising out of the ordinary council meeting of 26th June? Okay, any business arising from the budget meeting of the 26th of June? Thank you. Okay, it comes up to our time for our deputations, and this morning we have 2 deputations. We have a deputation from Tourism Atherton Tablelands, and we also have a deputation from the Milla Progress Association. And I might go to Milla first, John, if that's okay, because we're still waiting on Michelle to get here. It's going to be a little bit late. So John Russell, if you're happy to do your presentation first, please come up to the podium. So John Russell is the president of the Milla Progress Association, and his presentation is regarding item 11.3, acknowledgement Milla Master Plan. Over to you, John. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm here actually representing the Milla Master Plan Steering Committee. I'm a member of the Milla Progress Association, but I'm the chair of the Steering Committee for the Master Plan. Next slide. So the purpose of my deputation is to support the adoption and endorsement of the Milla Town Master Plan in this council meeting. This plan contains the hopes and aspirations of the Milla community, and I believe it's well overdue. The success of the Millanda Town Master Plan demonstrated to our community what a master plan can do. The achievements from that Millanda Town Master Plan 2019 showed us that there is another way to get the endorsement and attitudes of the community in front of the council. We've had a long process of the council coming to the community to consult with us about various projects, including the Waterfalls precinct redevelopment. And rather than a piecemeal approach, it demonstrated to us that the town master planning could give a holistic, comprehensive view to the council about the attitudes and aspirations of the community. The thing that makes the Miller plan slightly different is it's a community-driven plan, so it's something that we've worked on for a number of years now. We've worked with Councillor Bilney and council officers, and we, taking the example of the Melander plan, we realised that we didn't have the skills or the abilities to do the community engagement ourselves, or to produce the quality of document that we might have seen from Melander. And so we entered into a process of negotiation with the JCU Tropical Urban Design team, which included professional organisations, to see whether they could do that work for us. And with the support of a $25,000 grant from the council, we were managed to engage them in that process. I guess the basis of all of this is that Miller has been in a period of decline, and opportunities that are in front of us have not always been grasped in a holistic way, or we've not been able to maximise the benefit that comes from some of those opportunities. And I'm thinking particularly about tourism in this, and while the plan does address tourism, it's not only about tourism. It's a comprehensive plan that looks at all of the needs and all of the aspirations and ideas from within our community. Next slide. In engaging the JCU in the process, we were able to get a body that was slightly at arm's length from the steering committee. We'd been consulted a number of times about various projects, but we wanted to really hear from the community, and the JCU did a fantastic job in reaching out into the community, listening to businesses, talking to students, talking to the Mamu people directly, talking to individuals directly, hearing the concerns of people who might be impacted by some of the things in the plan. And then they prepared the first draft of the plan and put it to a community meeting where there was a fair bit of discussion, and they took away some of those ideas, got new ideas from within the community meeting, developed their first draft, returned to the community as a whole, and generated discussion and got further feedback before the final draft, and that final draft was completed in February of 2025, and that draft was presented to Sean Lyle, the Executive Manager for Development. So this is in the TRC, and he was tasked, I think, with handling that for the TRC to come to a meeting. So that's where we were in February, and that's kind of the whole, in a nutshell, that's the process of consultation. And we think it was done fairly independently of the steering committee, and it got a good broad view from within the community. Next slide. We think that the plan will provide many social and economic benefits to the community. It proposes smarter use and leveraging of Miller's unique natural assets. It will try to rebuild direct access from Miller Falls to draw visitors back into the town and try and generate business. It will place Miller at the centre of access to our natural assets in the region, I had an opportunity yesterday to talk to Councillor Bilney and the Mayor and the planning person at McHugh's Lookout, and in front of us you could see the whole of the natural environment, and the opportunity is there to redirect visitors to our region to where we want them to be in terms of generating business and economic activity. It'll boost, the plan will boost productivity and job opportunities through coordinating and maximising the benefits from precinct improvements. So one of the things that we have seen previously is sometimes the developments don't always connect and don't make use of the synergies that are available. And I think the master plan will help to do that. It'll clarify for everyone the purpose and aspirations of Millamilla. If you asked in the past what the purpose of Millamilla was, people would have been clear. It was a timber town, or it was a dairy town. Now if you ask, and that includes asking people within council, you know, what's the point of Millamilla? Why is it there? You get vague answers. That might include tourism, it might include dairying, it might include welfare, but it's not clear. This plan has the legitimacy of being a community-driven plan as well. People were consulted broadly. The JCU, when they when they conducted the community meetings, the comment to me was, it's always the small towns that turn out for these kind of things, and we got a really good turnout. A population of 270 odd people, and we got something like 150 people to those meetings. It'll foster social cohesion and engagement. Things within the plan are designed to bring people out of their homes, to create more active lifestyle, to create opportunities to meet and socialise, and more opportunity for people who visit the town to get to know the place, to have those genuine engagements with the community. The plan celebrates the history of innovation and adaptation. It also celebrates the look and feel of our village atmosphere. We want to build on those things and not you know, create a tourist town so much, but we want to rebuild that village atmosphere. Next slide. Essentially, the plan balances growth with protection. It creates more active living spaces for visitors and residents while protecting sensitive areas from overuse. It supports community connections while protecting privacy and living space for residents. It celebrates both Indigenous and settler connections and heritage to the place. It helps with the design of streetscapes that are safe, accessible, and respectful to our history. It's proposing affordable, low-impact development that protects our productive farmland. And the other thing is it offers more options, giving residents and visitors more lifestyle choices. So it tries to balance all of those things, and I think we've done it really well in the plan. Next slide. The plan also aligns with other strategies and strategic documents. The plan will inform the planning scheme by filling in some of the missing detail for the Millamilla-Mongali region. When you look at the planning scheme, there's not much detailed in about our region in that plan. The master plan will inform Tropical North Queensland Economic Development Strategy, highlighting opportunities, particularly in tourism, agriculture and food manufacturing. Also strongly aligns with the Destination 2045 plan from the Queensland Government. Lots of opportunities for tourism in agricultural settings. It'll inform Tropical North Queensland's Destination Management Plan, the state planning policy on tropical communities. the timing now is right as well to try and leverage off the statewide 2032 Olympic Games preparation and the plans they have for dispersing visitors into the regions and giving them a genuine experience. The plan will also maximise the co-benefits of any investment that the council, state government or federal governments have into the communities by coordinating across sectors, businesses and with the community. Next slide. Governance, we understand that the council will need support in implementing this plan, and the Master Planning Steering Committee have committed to an ongoing commitment and relationship to ensure that the plan remains relevant and responsive. We will formalise the structure, I think, given that the council does adopt the plan. We'll clarify the role of the committee, decision-making protocols and cadences as reports back to council, and then we'll want to develop reviews and scorecards so we can report back to the community to make sure that the community trusts in the process is being transparent and working for them. Next slide. Having a plan will help with mobilising funding. In the world today, everyone puts the funding out there and the funding is delivered through a competitive process. Without the evidence of community engagement, without the evidence of support from government and council, applications fail. This is the evidence that shows that we have good relations with council. We have done the pre-planning. There is cooperation between the local government and business and the community, and we're ready to get to work. It can add significant weight to any application. The master plan will also signal to developers and entrepreneurs where the opportunities are for investment, what things have the backing of both the community and local government, and it will allow them to make decisions about where they put their money. It'll also make it possible for the local government to demonstrate that they have the backing of the community when they think about where they invest their resources and in the community. Next slide. Risk management, we understand, principally we understand this is an aspirational document. We know that everything that's in the plan is not a guarantee that it will happen. We know that the community needs to provide ongoing support to some of the ideas in this plan, but the plan also has sensible, easy to achieve early results, ideas that can provide early results at very little or no cost. The other thing is that a plan can help guide the council in already committed fundings to make sure that you align with the community's needs and aspirations and reduce the risk of negative feedback on some of the developments that are going ahead. We understand that transparent communication and the need to remain flexible. So this iteration of the plan, we know, will change over time as new risks emerge, and we have to respond to those. Next slide. So what I'm asking for in this council meeting is a formal resolution to support and endorse this plan as part of your decision-making process. I will also flag that we will be seeking resource allocation in the next council budget to help get some of the design and early stage infrastructure plans underway. And we formally ask for a review of your existing works to take into account this plan to ensure that those are aligned with the plan. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, John. Great. Yep. Okay, everyone, that brings us to our second deputation. So could I ask Michelle Bell-Turner from Tourism Atherton Tablelands to come up to the front, please?
Sure. We're just loading the slides.
Yeah.
Hopefully that all goes to plan. If not, I've got paper. Beautiful.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, and firstly, thanks for your patience. I apologise for the delay in being here. There was an accident on the Malanda Road on the Mungali side. Thank you, Mayor Marty, CEO, councillors, for allowing the time for this deputation. We really appreciate the time and effort that you've put over the last 6 months in working with us to re-establish a great working relationship with Tourism Atherton Tablelands. Next slide, please. Tourism Atherton Tablelands is the peak industry body for the region. It's recognised by Tourism Tropical North Queensland and Tourism and Events Queensland. It's an industry body that was founded by local businesses like our own, who recognised the need for a destination approach in marketing the region. It's been established since 1986, and next year we'll be celebrating our 40th year. It's created the region's major destination digital platforms, and it's run by a volunteer board of directors, some of whom you will see in the room today. And you can see the board there, and we have many years of experience, and as an LTO we have one of the highest membership rates of any LTO in the Queensland region. Next slide. I'm jumping straight into what we've asked. I know you've received papers and we've already done presentations previously. So we're looking for a partnership with Tablelands Regional Council of $100,000 per year over 4 years. Can you just click down on the next, and you'll see, yeah, thanks. If you can just click the more, yeah, that would be great. I'm not quite sure how that formatting works, so I do apologise. I'm not always a tech head. That equates to $3.67 per resident and $464 per business. And you can see that this compares as a much smaller proportion to a lot of our other adjoining councils. So Cairns Regional Council, $20 per resident, Cassowary Coast, $13 per resident, Douglas, $41, and Gulf Savannah, $12.52 per resident. Next slide. And if you can click down on those, that would be great. So tourism matters strongly to our region. It's the second biggest industry following agriculture. We have 157,000 visitors staying in region for an average of 5.7 nights. That's 900 visitor nights and 450,000 day trippers. And the day trippers contribute $40 million per annum, and the visitors staying in region contribute $300 million per annum. The combined total is $300 million per annum. This supports 220 businesses in the region and employs 1,650 staff. And that's, you know, for a small rural regional area, that's significant. We actually punch well for our region. We deliver 5.6% of the total value of tourism to the tropical North Queensland region, and it provides economic benefit across all businesses. It's had a growth of 8% per annum since 2005. There's not many industries that can attest to that. The Tablelands is in a prime position to capitalise on emerging trends in bike, rail, wellness, agri and nature tourism. And to do that, they need a strong commitment to tourism, and they need to work with their local LTO to help build the capacity of businesses to be able to capitalise on these things. Next slide, please. Can you, sorry, do all those? Oops, we'll go back. I think we've missed. Yeah, so what we've asked for is a 4-year partnership to give certainty to both parties, but also to build momentum. Whenever you're doing any strategy or marketing, it can't just change year to year. You need to have a strong direction, and you need to be able to have clear goals and milestones that we'll be working on. So we've set destination goals, regaining market share up to 6%, making sure there's a visitor satisfaction of 85%, that there's strong awareness and conversion through the digital platforms, and increasing the average spend of visitors and stay in region. There'll be organisational goals as well. Obviously, we want to make sure that the dollars we're spending have the reach that we require, both for our members and for council. TAD has a highly skilled board, as I've said, and it's allowed for 2 ex officio board positions for TRC to ensure funds are used to deliver the best results. Next slide. We understand that you've just delivered your biggest budget and it's a financially challenging time, and that funds can be tight. Community and business sustainability can be directly correlated to the tourist dollar spend, and TRC currently has no full-time resources or budget to support tourism internally. If you were to put staffing on internally, that would cost you at least $200,000, and that's without any budget for actually doing activities to bring people in region. The investment that we're asking from council, although it may appear costly, is actually well executed, will deliver more revenue to council. For every $10,000 of additional visitor spend, the Tablelands Regional Council charges an extra $270 in water and waste rate levies. So if we deliver a 1% increase in market share, which is more than achievable for us, that would equate to an extra $43 million in visitor spend in region for all our towns, and an extra $1.2 million increase to council revenue. That's definitely not insignificant, and something that I think is really important to note, that sometimes in business we have to spend money to make money. TAD is the industry recognised body, experienced and able to deliver for TRC. Next slide. We are, though, in a very competitive, and probably the most competitive time for the tourism dollar spend. We obviously had all the challenges of COVID. There's a huge competition for that tourist dollar. There's a lot of regions that we're competing against, so Douglas Shire, Cassowary Coast and Mareeba, and they have committed significantly more funds. Although we've had growth since 2005, more recently you can see on that graph that we've had decline, and we need to maintain our market share, and that is due to not having an active LTO, and that creates less dollars in region and for TRC. The next slide. This is a future occupancy from last month, and you can see there's been a bit of a downward trend, and so this is why I'm just trying to demonstrate to you that it is quite a competitive market. So we want to see those trends going upwards for the region, and we want to be able to direct traffic to this region through the various gateways. Tropical North Queensland has lots of new partnerships that are happening with airport traffic, drive traffic, and people are making choices constantly about where they go. There's a trend in the aviation industry for small-bodied aircraft, and Cairns Airport, along with the Northern Territory, are the only 2 airports in Australia that can really truly capitalise on this trend. So we're in a prime position to help drive tourists back into region. Next slide. There's a direct correlation between TAP membership and market share, and you can see that from this slide, that when there's less contribution and less activity by TAP, it adversely affects the share of market to region. Next slide. On average, tourism businesses spend around 5% of their actual turnover on marketing. With an engaged membership, at our highest we were at 180 members. We would spend over $8 million on marketing in the region as a collective with a strong, clear messaging and voice. Without Tourism Atherton and Tablelands, operators fall back into marketing themselves. That disperses the message. That means that we don't get as much impact of people into region, and the region loses its share of voice, clear messaging and market share. Next slide. Obviously, our key focus is on showcasing the region's USP, unique selling points. Again, sorry if you can just click down on those. It will, and we will have a range of internationally significant, nationally significant and regionally significant things. So we've got to find the touch points that actually bring people to region. Sorry, there's a few more to come down. So we've got plenty. We're not short of actual attractions to region. What we need to do is have a clear message and strong storytelling to region that enables people to know that's where I want to be. Sorry, just back one. So you can see we are very blessed with a diversity of experiences. Everything from, the waterfalls to the outback, to the historic and heritage to rail experiences, music, arts and culture, food and agriculture. Next slide. Our job is to bring people into region and help with the dispersal across the TRC region. We do that through sharing stories of businesses, natural attractions and our unique hero experiences, highlighting the unique geology, microclimates, flora and fauna, enabling the dispersal of visitors to all 6 divisions of the TRC. Some divisions have concerns over over-visitation, and environmental stewardship is a great opportunity here. An example of that would be Lake Eacham, which has an extremely high visitation. It has a major redevelopment undergoing, which is of concern to some residents. But this is a great opportunity because emerging trend in tourism is environmental stewardship. So how do we work collectively to ensure that these things happen? It's happening with the reef, it's happening with the rainforest. How do we do it with our natural assets? For other divisions within the Shire, there's a desire for more recognition of their unique assets and experiences and better promotion to encourage visitation. So, these are the tasks that we have to hand. Innovation, product development, infrastructure investment are key to increasing visitor nights and holding visitors longer in region. Capacity building of operators is also key in our charter, and increasing our share of the best of Queensland experiences will be key in driving pre-market awareness. Currently, we're achieving 45% of the best of Queensland experiences, compared with Cairns region 66%, Port Douglas 65%, and Cassowary Coast 54%. So we're punching at the lowest there, so we need to lift that up. Next slide. We've developed our strategic direction for the next 3 years, and you can see that as the local tourism organisation, our purpose is to be the strong voice for industry and the lead agency for delivering destination marketing activities for the benefit of the members and the wider community, including promotion of our key access routes. We have primary key access routes, whether that's from the Palmerston side, the Mareeba side, or the western side into region, and they're critical to the promotion of the region. We aim to be recognised as one of the world's best destinations to engage with nature, culinary delights, experiential adventures, wellness activities and environmental stewardship. Our strategic focus will focus on increased visitor nights and spend, boosting digital marketing, industry, trade and member engagement, maximising public relationships, public relations with families, influencers and media showcasing, promoting our hero experiences pre-arrival and promoting conservation and stewardship. Next slide. This is just an extension of some of those activities, and I have a copy of this 2-page strategic plan here, nice and brief, that I can share with you later. So I don't think we need to go to that level of detail unless you want to, and we're happy for that to happen in the questions, but that's just an example of some of the activities and goals that we are setting in place for the region. Next slide. Along with what we do as the LTO, we work closely with TTNQ. We've got Mark Olsen here, the CEO, and they help encourage investment in region. That's not our charter, but it's TTNQ who work back with council. So it's important to see all the different linkages. And so these are some of, we need to work with Tableland Regional Council's Destination Management Plan 2021 and the new Destination 24 plan, which covers the next 20 years. These are the more immediate things that are focused on in those destination plans. And I know you've seen this slide before, so we can dwell on it or we can just sort of give you that snapshot. It focuses on your Prior's Creek development, the bike trails, the Atherton to Herban Heritage Rail Trail, Heritage Precincts in Herberton, attracting investment in boutique conference centre accommodation. So this is investment. It doesn't mean that it's only in those division areas. We want investment across all divisions, all 6 divisions of the council. Next slide. So a strong partnership and commitment enables council to focus on core business, save dollars internally, and generate a return on investment, which I think is key. If you're going to spend money, you want to see a return. It provides council and the region with key deliverables. It's proposed that those will be set by the CEO and we'll report on those quarterly. It adds economic value to our small rural towns. It helps ensure consistent branding, storytelling, messaging and a strong identity for the region. And more importantly, helps us manage tourism in the region and ensure good stewardship. Increased tourism generates business development, employment, investment, and people staying in region. And ultimately that will help grow the rate space for TRC. As you all know, the Olympic Games are happening in 2032. It's a prime time for us to ensure, as your local LTO, that we can capitalise on opportunities to grow tourism to our region. Thank you. Any questions or any slides that you want to spend more time on? And
Thanks, Michelle.
And if you'd like a copy of the strategic plan, because I know you haven't had that previously. Happy to share a copy of that, or if you want a copy of the presentation.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just watching around. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Michelle.
Thank you for the technology working. It's always a nerve-wracking thing.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen, but it did today so far. Thank you. That brings us, councillors, to item 10, the mayoral minute. So, councillors, I'd just like to report some good news. In recent weeks, council has had 2 betterment funding applications approved by the Queensland Reconstruction Authority. We received $1.7 million for the upgrade to concrete of 15 gully crossings on the following roads: Top Nettle, Mount Misery Road, Silver Valley, there were 4 there; Wairuna Road, Minamooka, 3 crossings there; Nimbool Road, Mount Garnet, 2 crossings; Glen Gordon Road, Inner Hot Springs, 2 crossings; Wild River Road, Millstream, 2 crossings; Glen Gordon Road, Inner Hot Springs, 1 crossing; James Road, Herberton, 1 crossing. The targeted projects will make a significant difference to the resilience of our roads, the residents and the producers in the southern parts of our local government area. We further received almost $800,000 to upgrade the Moomin Road crossing of the Wild River to a concrete causeway standard. Both programs are 100% externally funded. In addition to that program, council has also been successful in 4 of its 5 applications for the Residential Activation Fund. These collectively represent $2.1 million. The key projects there are 4 projects: Peaks Gully Trunk Sewer Construction, Malanda Water Booster Pump Station, Cook Street Sewer Pump Station and Pressure Main Design, and finally Logan and Low Street Trunk Water Main Design. So yeah, $2.1 million for those 4 projects. The adopted 2025-26 budget will be amended to reflect the funding at our first budget review. I take this opportunity to thank the staff who put these submissions together and congratulate them with the successful application results. I also acknowledge the very early contribution from the CEO with the RAF program, where the CEO got things underway for us before actually starting with council. So councillors, I move that that Merrill minute. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. So that brings us to item 11.1, the Chief Executive Officer Report, July 2025.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and through the chair. I'm very pleased to present the Executive Officer Report for the July 2025 Ordinary Meeting of Council. I'll keep it nice and brief this time around. We had our inaugural TRC Business and Tourism Forum. It was held last week, and it was an opportunity to meet with and hear from our business and tourism community, and it was certainly a very engaging conversation. Supporting local businesses and tourism are core businesses for local government, and I'd like to thank our partners in this initiative: Tourism Atherton Tablelands, Malanda Chamber of Commerce, Atherton Tablelands Chamber of Commerce, Ravenshoe Chamber of Commerce, Curtin Business and Tourism Association, Yungaburra Association Incorporated, and the Miller Progress Association. So thank you to those who attended. It was a very good evening. I've also included in this month's report some project updates. At the end of the report, if you're accessing it online, you'll be able to link to Council's website for more information. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for the CEO? Councillor Hayden.
So over that, I would like to know why the Mount Gunner Progress Association was not invited, or the United Springs Progress. It just seems to be all off the radar all the time. So I'd like to know why, who did the inviting and why they aren't included all the time.
Oh, thank you very much for that. I'm Blake.
Through the chair,
Thank you.
Councillor Hayden, we targeted the chambers primarily. If those associations are keen to attend, then we'll certainly invite them in the future, and that was an oversight on my behalf.
So why would the Progress from Millenmore be invited when they are Progress Association, not a chamber?
I think they expressed some interest.
Any more questions, councillors? Could I have a mover that the Chief Executive Officer report for July 2025 be accepted? Councillor Bilney moving, a seconder. Councillor Barty. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to item 11.2, the funding agreement, Tourism Atherton Tablelands. I'll hand over to the CEO.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and through the chair. I seem to have a lot of reports this morning. I'm pleased to present this report. So Atherton Tablelands Promotional Bureau Limited is trading as Tourism Atherton Tablelands at the moment, and it requests the Tablelands Regional Council enter into a funding partnership agreement to boost tourism to the TRC local government area. The goal to grow visitor nights and spend, encourage investment and increase the revenue to region and TRC's rateable base. Tourism is one of the most significant industries in our region behind agriculture and farming. It contributes in excess of 400 million annually. That is 270 million in direct and 130 million in indirect value to the local economy, and supports 220 businesses who in turn, according to 2023 data, employ 1,051 staff. This makes up 9.4% of total employment across various industry sectors, such as accommodation and food services and retail trade, noting of course that some agriculture and farming businesses also diversify to include tourism and ag. Tourism contributes just over 12% of total industry, and this is shown at table 1 on the second page of the report. TAP, reference areas to tourism, Atherton and Tableland, has requested TRC support tourism and tourism related business by way of funding $100,000 per annum for 4 years from the date of the agreement. Supporting the local tourism organisation, which is TAP, will bring about broad and diverse regional benefits to businesses and individuals such as employers and employees, and it's spread across a diverse range of areas such as industry, fee payers, rate payer categories, and also our community groups such as arts and sports. It's also consistent with our strategic theme 4, our economy, of TRC's corporate plan 2025-2030. Funding TAP will bring TRC practices in line with other local governments in Queensland, where their local tourist operators and regional tourism operators, as well as opening up funding and grants opportunities with partners such as Tropical Tourism North Queensland. Further, supporting tourism will demonstrate to investors, including for short-term accommodation, that Council is committed to ensuring that any new accommodation offerings will be viable, and this includes in the Priors Creek precinct. I'm happy to take any questions, thanks.
Councillors, any questions? Okay, can I have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Bilney is moving. We have a seconder? I'll second that.
Can I flag that I have an alternative motion?
Sure, yeah. So Councillor Barty has an alternative motion.
So do I read what I want to say now, or should I do any questions?
I'll wait until, or have you got a question?
Oh, yes, I've got a few in my.
Oh, no, well, yeah, sorry.
I don't know.
I guess you've got a second, just so the motion's on the floor now.
Yeah, yeah. So we're going to start.
So when I do the voting, I can say something.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You can go first, Councillor. Oh, well, I'll Councillor Bilney as the mover. I'll let Councillor Bilney go first, and then we can go to you, Councillor Hayden.
Yep, through the chair, I will reserve my right of reply at the finalisation. But thank you, Michelle, for your deputation. Excellent work. As a council, I believe that supporting our local tourism organisation, which is the Tourism Atherton Tablelands, is an investment in the future of our region. These types of organisations are at the forefront of promoting what makes our area unique. They help attract visitors, drive economic growth, and create opportunities for local businesses. By financially supporting TAT, we're helping to build a stronger, more vibrant community for everyone. I also acknowledge in this report that there are clear and relevant KPIs attached to the funding proposal, which TRC will monitor to ensure that community receives value for money. Michelle noted that this won't happen overnight, and it's a process, and whilst that is the security and tenure of a 4-year term. The KPIs such as regaining market share, improving visitor satisfaction, increasing reach through word of mouth, and increasing the economic return from target demographics, they're all critical to measuring the success. So, in my view, tourism on the Tablelands still holds significant untapped potential. The recommendation to provide support is both prudent and strategic and will carry my full support.
Thanks, Councillor Bilney. Councillor Hayden.
Okay. There is limited evidence that previous funding to the Tablelands Atherton Tablelands has led to measurable economic or tourism growth in the region. And this was evident when the Mayor asked for it to be taken away years ago. Without clear KPIs or reporting mechanisms, it is difficult to justify the $100,000. Local councils have pressing responsibilities like roads, waste management, community facilities and infrastructure. $100,000 might be better spent on essential services or projects that directly impact our residents, such as our libraries. Tourism businesses benefit directly from increased visitors, so it could be argued that funding should come from industry stakeholders rather than ratepayers' funds. Supporting TAT with public money might not be fair to other industries that don't receive similar council subsidies. So are there other regional tourism bodies already investing in marketing and promoting of the Atherton Tablelands? And if so, additional local funding may duplicate existing campaigns rather than add unique value. Other towns and localities within the council may have equal strong claims for funding. Giving $100,000 to TAT might be seen as favouring one sector in the region over others. And how does TAT prove a detailed business plan or outline exactly how the $100,000 will be spent so that council can ensure ratepayers' money is being used effectively?
There's quite a few questions there, Councillor Hayden. I'll refer to some when I talk. But would someone else like to go next? Councillor Kaji.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Thanks for the presentation, Michelle. It's a great presentation, as always. Mark, thank you for your input. You always do a good job in presentations. Look, from my point of view, I acknowledge the importance that tourism plays in our community. I acknowledge that it's very beneficial, and the more we can help businesses expand their businesses, better grows our community. The only problem I have really is the timing. The timings for me is the worst possible time you could have asked for $7,000. In this document, in our financial report, in this document here today, it has highlighted the fact that we were $3 million in deficit in the last financial year, and that's a lot of money to be in deficit. We're at a time where we need to tighten our belt and look at sustainability across the whole TRC region. We're faced with having to potentially close libraries, look at offloading obsolete and aging assets to be better sustainable into the future. So until we can get ourselves into a better financial position in the future, and hopefully the near future, at this point in time, I can't support spending this sort of money on tourism. I acknowledge it's the second biggest economic driver in our community, below agriculture and farming, but there's a big gap between the two. There is a big gap. So at this point in time, as much as I would love to support it, I can't bring myself to supporting it at this point in time. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Tajik. Councillors? Anyone else like to talk to this one? Okay, councillors, look, I'll try and respond to a couple of Councillor Hayden's questions that she raised as well. Tablelands has been through a rough patch with tourism in recent years. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that. There's a whole bunch of history behind it. But what we've done in the last 6 to 9 months with TTNQ and TAT is basically to rebuild a new model. We basically had a model that actually still included the Mareeba Shire in the legal structure. So we hadn't actually modified TAT's new footprint post de-amalgamation. I mean, de-amalgamation happened in 2014, and it hadn't been reflected in the boundaries of the new TRC, the new smaller TRC. So we basically redrawn up the legal structure so that it just covers the TRC footprint. We've got new board members on TAT, which is absolutely fantastic, and the amount of assistance we've got from TTNQ, from Mark Olsen and the team at TTNQ, the three organisations have done a lot of work to pull that together. You know, and basically, one of those slides from Michelle showed how our neighbouring councils are putting quite a lot more into tourism. So we need to you know, hit a reset now that we've done the work that we've had to do. And Councillor Hayden, you said that I asked for it to be taken away years ago. That's not what I did. What happened during the last council was that TRC still recognised it needed to do destination marketing. That marketing money went to a separate marketing organisation. It didn't take money away from tourism marketing. It went to a separate marketing organisation as, you know, as TAT was getting itself reorganised, and that's happened now. So look, I'd just like to make the best possible case. There's been considerable and collaborative work has been done with the new TAT board. We thank TAT board for doing that. Also with TTNQ, thank you Mark Olsen and the team. This is evidence in the presentation that Mark presented. We have got our ducks in a row in terms of the organisation and its footprint. We've got a new structure, we've got new blood, and we've got a new constitution, which is really important. Tablelands is truly a remarkable and diverse tourism asset, and it's when organisations like TAT come to council and ask for money, to Councillor Cardew's point, it's never the right time. Councils, it's never the right time to ask councils for money because councils are all in the same boat. But if we look at our neighbouring councils, they're all making contributions quite a bit in excess of what we are. So it's, you know, the time is right, the time is now. So we need to reinvest. We need to return Tablelands to its rightful place in the tourism landscape. We need to kick some goals and you know, really start just driving up the local economy through tourism. When we build length of stay, when we build bed nights, when we bring new visitors, we add to small businesses right across the Shire, and everyone wins when we do that. You know, this is an absolutely, it's a great opportunity for us. It's never the right time, but it's absolutely the right time in terms of having our ducks in a row and trying to maximise the opportunity that we've got right here and right now. Councillors, anyone else like to talk before Councillor Billing's got a right of reply? Anyone else like to talk? Councillor Lang?
Yeah, I'm just going to have to agree with Kev on this one. We've gone line by line through the budget. We're going to have to do something else then. If we put this in, we've got to take something else out, and that's just, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's quite right, Councillor Lang. I'll just talk to the CEO.
Thank you very much. So just a couple of things. So one, with organisations such as TAT or partnerships, we'd ordinarily get them to come and present to council on a quarterly basis, and they would normally present against the KPIs. So council is kept up to date. I did have some funds in the order of 150,000 in the event that something happened, and obviously that did not happen at budget time. So there is money in the budget if it's open to council to reallocate it.
Is this a question, Councillor Cardue? Yeah, Councillor Cardue.
That 150,000 you talked about, where was that coming out of?
In the event that a by-election was caused because of the budget.
Well, we're still only 18 months into our term, how do you know that won't happen in the next 2.5 years?
Well, that's, I mean, that's a matter for councillors if they decide to resign.
Final call, councillors, before I go to Councillor Bilney. Okay, Councillor Bilney's right of reply. Thank you.
Through the chair, look, I've heard what everyone says. My position hasn't changed. I do accept that financially it's challenging at the moment for council. But if we're looking at the bigger picture, is what is the demonstrated return to community, its businesses, if we support tourism? I think it's been very clearly shown in our documents. The return, if they can return back to 8%, which is not happening in any other industry generally, that's a huge opportunity for us. There is substantial investment and recognition of tourism in neighbouring LGAs, local government associations. They get it. We need to get it as well. We have got a refreshed board with a passion. They're going to take tourism on the tablelands in a fresh direction. I think we need to support it. The CEO mentioned about the 2 ex officio positions that will also be on the board meetings to provide oversight. We're going to be measuring KPIs. I don't know what else we can do but to support them financially. That's my say.
Thanks, Councillor Bilney. Well, we've got a mover and seconder. Everyone's spoken who wish to speak. Those in favour? Okay, that's defeated. And we'll come to you, Councillor Barty. Just record that. Councillor Barty had an alternative motion.
Should I wait for Jackie to finish?
Yep.
Or Jackie? So I'd like to move the motion on the board now to approve funding for tourism Atherton Tablelands in the order of $100,000 per financial year for a term of 1 year. And number 2 is the same as the previous motion.
Do we have a Councillor Spanos seconding? Councillor Barty, over to you.
Michelle and everybody for coming along today, Mark, and it's a very strong board for TAP, I recognise that. My reason for putting this motion up today is that GRC has significant and somewhat untapped tourism potential, and this partnership with TAP presents an important opportunity to support and grow this sector. However, following a very challenging budget period, where we're asking more from our community and changing some of the services that we provide, committing to a 4-year agreement without first establishing and testing clear parameters and KPIs feels a little premature. A 1-year contract will give an opportunity to build this relationship and provide a natural point for review before considering a longer-term commitment.
Councillor Spanos, would you like to talk?
I could add to that. I appreciate the delegation and I appreciate the words. Yeah, absolutely, tourism. I understand tourism, but we've just gone through a really special budget, and that has not been taken very well in community. So asking them to do more when we're taking away is a difficult thing for me to do. I'm not even in those divisional centres that are affected by it. However, I understand that it's the whole community that I'm concerned about. I understand also that to make money, you have to spend money, and it is true, that is a fact. I believe that absolutely, but I would like to see us just take small steps. Now, I don't know what that does for you guys as such, but you know, initially beginning the process, I think, is a better way to do it. For me, at least, that's how I feel about it. I understand that you need some clarity on where you're heading with this, and getting a 4-year term would have been what you would have liked. However, I've got to think about our constituents and people that we just asked to accept our budget, which is increased. So therefore, yeah, I agree with Marie's suggestion, and I'll agree with what she's put up. Thank you.
Councillors, Councillor Billing?
Yeah, through the chair. Obviously, security in financial tenure was the aim of the original recommendation. I would hate to see the opportunity lost to fund. So if it's got to be a 1 year, that's, you know, I'd have to support that, because we need to fund the body some way, and we can work the other little concerns of council or whatever out in the meantime. You know, if it's the KPIs and that, we need to start, and if this provides that start, it's not my preference, but I would support that.
Thanks, Councillor Billing. Councillors, Councillor Karchik?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Look, I'm just going to reinforce what I said earlier. Appreciate what Councillor Barty's trying to do, but it still hasn't reduced that dollar figure for this financial year. We've just put our rates up 7.9% and took away the 2.5% discount. People are hurting out there, and this is an allocation that has not been budgeted for, so it's going to have to be squeezed in some way, and something's got to come out, or we're going to go into further deficit. Like I said, last financial year we had a $3 million deficit. We've got to stop. We've got to take some hard decisions. I appreciate the importance of the industry, as I've said, but we have to start making some hard decisions in this council. We just can't keep putting our rates up and expecting our ratepayers to fund all of these proposals that come up during the course of the 12-month budgetary cycle. I just cannot bring myself to put my hand up. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Councillor Karchik. Councillors? Anyone else like to talk to this one? Okay, we've got a motion up on the screen, moved by Councillor Barty, seconded by Councillor Spanos. Those in favour? Carried. That's 5 to Councillor Hayden. Okay, that one's carried. Thank you. That'll bring us to item 11.3, acknowledgement Milla Master Plan. Who's talking to that one? Thanks, Martin.
Through the chair. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you to John earlier for his presentation. Following extensive research and community engagement, the Milla Master Plan was completed in early 2025. The final document wonderfully enshrines the aspirations of the local community and indeed the efforts and dedication of all involved, particularly the Milla Progress Association and the James Cook University team. Whilst it is noted the master plan is not a statutory document requiring formal council endorsement, this report simply seeks to highlight the plan's pathway to completion under the guidance of the project team and local stakeholders. So the officer's recommendation is that the council acknowledges and applauds the efforts of the Milla Progress Association in collaboration with the James Cook University project team and other local community stakeholders in their preparation and completion of the master plan as a comprehensive and aspirational document for the Milla Township and wider community.
Thanks. Any questions for Nathan? No? All right, councillors, could we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Billing is moving. We have a second. Councillor Spanos is seconding. Councillor Billing.
Through the chair. Again, John, thank you very much for your deputation. Well received. Thanks publicly to the steering committee that has been on a bit of a journey for the last 12 or 18 months, I guess, in doing this. And also the community that turned up on the day where a lot of the information was harvested. There was, as John said, community of around 270, and there was over 150 attended. It really goes to show passion for Milamilla and to see progression. The master plan being received by council today is aspirational and it will assist community projects that may arise from time to time in grant applications. The process was quite interesting to be part of it, and I was a part of it with the Malanda master planning process. I think the passion from the community that they have shown in getting their ideas out is quite exceptional. I look forward to working with community going forwards in any of those little projects that they may wish to progress, with ultimately the betterment of the Milamilla community in mind. So yeah, I support this document.
Thanks, Councillor Billney. Anyone else like to talk to this one? Councillor Kaji.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, look, I also want to thank the Milamilla community for their input as well. I mean, it's a good document. I just hope we can find some funds later on to support some of the initiatives that we've got in it, and it all links back to a lot of it links back to tourism as well. So yeah, see what happens in the future. But thank you very much for your input. I know the Milamilla community is very strong and have a lot of input and very passionate. So thanks again.
Councillors, final call. We've got a mover and seconder to the motion that's on the screen. Those in favour? Carried. 7. Thank you. That was Councillor Stenos second, was it? Yeah. Okay, that brings us to item 11.4, the organisational review structure adoption. I'll hand over to the CEO.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor, and through the chair, please.
Do you want to have a break?
Michelle, you're back.
Do you want to have a break? I wasn't going to have one yet. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So the structure of the organisation was changed from the 3 GM model reporting under the Chief Executive to a 2 GM model by resolution of Council on the 24th of September 2020. Further changes were subsequently introduced by the most recent former CEO, which added an executive and operational layer of 4 additional direct reports and 2 discrete officers, which abutted the existing GM layer and other direct reports of the CEO. Irrespective of what gains and improvements were sought with either of the changes, ultimately the current arrangements aren't fit for purpose for the reasons that I've provided in this report, and a 3rd GM role will allow for areas of council with similar functions and purpose to be grouped together as a cohesive operational unit and remove the additional delegations currently being managed by the CEO. It is proposed in the report that the General Manager title be General Manager Placemaking, because most of the functions under that person would be future focused. That is things like planning and development, so all development assessment, development engineering, planning scheme, economic development, tourism and the like. I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions for the CEO? No? Okay, councillors, looking for a mover and seconder.
Did you have a question? So sorry, you're saying General Manager of Placemaking. On your structure, it's still got Development Services?
Oh, yes. So it's thank you for that. The name has still been going through a few of the motions, but I think Placemaking probably sums it up because it won't only be Development Services. So the current title is Executive Manager Development Services.
Executive Manager of General.
Development Services, which is the role that
Executive
Nathan.
manager.
Chief, is it executive manager or general manager?
No, at the moment it's Executive Manager Development Services.
Yeah, oh, okay, on here it's
Yeah.
saying general manager development services.
No, so, sorry, it will go to General Manager Placemaking. So that's the old title of so it's the Executive Manager Development Services that we're upgrading.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it will be.
yeah, no, I
it's
understood
one-
that, but it was,
Yes.
yeah, it doesn't say. Okay,
It's not in there.
it's not.
Not in there.
Any more questions, councillors? All right, looking for a mover and seconder for the officer's recommendation. Yeah, councillor Spanos is moving it. Councillor Bilney seconding it. Councillor Spanos.
I don't really need to speak to this. I think it's an organisational change, and I hope it's for the better. So, yeah, I'm okay.
Thanks, councillor Spanos. Councillor Bilney.
Yeah, through the chair, I'll take the opportunity if I may. As an organisation, we've undergone several structural adjustments aimed at improving efficiency and streamlining operations. However, over time, these changes have actually led to unintended complexities and a strain on executive leadership capacity. We now have a structure where the CEO manages multiple direct reports across differing layers, including operational advisory roles. This has diluted accountability, increased admin pressure, and obscured critical functions such as legal and governance. The current structure is no longer fit for purpose. This is now time to review our organisation and make deliberate strategic decisions that better align our structure internally.
Thanks, councillor Bilney.
That's what I was going to say.
Councillors? Councillor Kaji?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, thanks. Look, I won't be supporting this. I've continually advocated the need for this organisation that a restructure is needed. We need to change the way we operate. We need to gain more efficiency in our operational space. The reason I was really hopeful that the restructure would take steps in achieving this, but the way this has been restructured now, all it's done is shuffle positions around from different general managers and create a new general manager, and nothing really has changed. So for those reasons, I won't be supporting this.
Thanks, councillor Kaji. Councillors? Yeah, councillors, look, I'll talk to this one. Council's been of the view for a long time that the organisation needed reform, and unlike councillor Kaji, I think this is absolutely the right way to go. The reform and changes already made have seen pointed restructuring in line with purpose and roles. The installation of a third GM to the corporate structure is key to consolidating the operations and, most importantly, relieving the CEO from an excessive number of reporting relationships, up to 8 or 9, which would effectively renders the CEO spends half the week managing those direct reports. The CEO's role in an organisation of this size should not be consumed by line managing. It's about adding far greater value through having a presence across the entire organisation, through advising councillors, through advocacy with state and federal departments and agencies, and through agreements on behalf of and for council. Councillors, this edition of the third GM is based on sound organisational management principles that reset reporting relationships and contribute to the performance and change within the TRC. I recommend that council endorses this necessary change, and in doing so, allow the CEO to get on with the job that we've asked her to do. Final call, councillors. Okay. Those in favour? Carried. That's 5-2. Okay, councillors, that brings us to 11.5. 2025 Local Government
This phrase
Association.
appears to be incomplete or a fragment of a larger conversation. It's difficult to determine its full meaning without more context.
Thank you, Sue, for
So that brings us to 11.5, 2025 Local Government Association of Queensland Inc. Annual Conference. I don't think we need to talk to that one. Is the councillor happy to move the officer's recommendation? Councillor Barty's moving. Seconded, Councillor Spanos. Councillor Barty, you wish to talk to that? No. Those in favour? Carried, that's 7. Okay, that brings us to 11.6, change of dates for ordinary meeting dates for October 2025. So yeah, the fourth Thursday of October clashes with the LGAQ conference. So we propose that we move that October meeting to the very end of the month, I believe. So do we have a mover of item 11.6? Councillor Spanos. Was that Councillor Hayden? Did you put your hand up? Councillor Hayden. Councillor Spanos, you wish to talk to that? No. Those in favour? Carried, that's 7. That brings us to item 11.7, preliminary capital project report, June 2025. Thanks, Kristen. When you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the Chair. This report consists of a preliminary overview of the Council's capital project performance against the approved budget for the period ending 30th of June 2025, and it highlights the current status of individual projects within the 24-25 capital works program. It is noted the information contained in this report is based on preliminary financial data and remains subject to finalisation and close out of the 24-25 financial year capital budget. It is further noted that due to the changeover of the financial years within council system, there's a number of projects that were inadvertently omitted from the report. However, I can confirm that those projects have been completed and closed out, and they'll be included in the final 24-25 capital projects report. This report is for council to receive and note, and through the chair, I'm happy to take any questions.
Yeah, Councillor Barty.
Thank you. I'd just like to clarify those projects that were left out. I think there was 26 from memory. Will they be added to this meeting that we're voting on today, like to the minutes of this? Will that be amended in there, or is that going to come to, like you're saying, for the full financial year?
It can be amended
today.
To be included as part of this report, because
it may be
when
too
they are
difficult because you would want to make sure that information was accurate, and you could only do that outside of
yes,
meeting.
I'm not sure what's available in regards to that.
I think given that it might be a significant amount of information, you might want to take
well,
the time.
Yeah, it's 26 projects, so if they were all finalised, I think that should be reported for June. Like, that's a lot of projects, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah.
If it assists, we can bring a paper back next month. I don't know that you can accept a paper at this meeting where you don't have all the material in it, and it would be
But I
different.
feel like we are accepting a paper that doesn't have all the material in it because it doesn't have that material in it.
No, but it's explained as, it's explained in the paper that the needs to be updated.
I know, Christy just vocally
Highlighted after the report was submitted, so.
So I guess we could attach the email that was sent around about the additional.
Yes, we can.
Has everyone looked at the email?
I wrote the email, so.
You wrote the email? Is everyone satisfied with if we attach the email and we can upload it straight away? So, but you can all confirm you've seen the email? I've got the email, but we could do a spreadsheet and
make it
add it to the
prettier.
public documents.
Yeah, I just feel like we're voting on incomplete data, that's all. for me anyway, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've all seen the email, you will confirm? Excellent.
Councillors all satisfied they've seen the email? Yeah, Councillor Paget, yeah. Any other questions for Christy? Okay, do we have a mover of the officers? How do we move this now?
Could we please, just a minor amendment to officer's recommendation, council receive and note the preliminary capital project report outlining project status and financial position with the 2024-25 capital program, and in addition, the relevant correspondence capturing the details about the 26 projects that are not in the report. Is everyone happy?
Can I just ask a question, Chris? So why weren't they in the initial report?
What's happened over the last month, there's been a number of projects that have been closed and capitalised,
Yep.
and as part of that capitalisation process,
They weren't in that report.
it's fallen off the report, and with the change over the financial year from 24-25 to 25-26.
So it's just the fact that it's been on the cusp of that they weren't actually closed off, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
But they were included in last year's budget?
They were part of last year's project.
Yep.
Program, because they've been fully closed out,
Yep.
and there's a part in the system where we changed it from active to inactive.
Yep.
And for some reason, the
It
system
hadn't
hasn't brought
happened.
those ones
Okay.
across.
So what we've read that you've sent us, they're all completely correct? Yeah?
That's all.
Okay, and there's not going to be any more that are going to come through those? No?
No, not for the 24-25.
Yeah.
So we're just getting this resolution right, councillors? Is that it? Okay, so could I have a mover and seconder for the motion that's up on the screen?
I can't read it. Sorry, notice that. Councillor, outlining projects. Yep, I'm happy to move that.
Did you want to say something?
Sorry, through the chair, can I just suggest that you read out the amendment?
Sorry.
So that anyone watching can hear it.
Okay, for item 11.7, capital project report, June 2025 preliminary, we've got a revised motion that council receive and note the preliminary capital projects report outlining project status and financial position within the 2024-25 capital program, and in addition the relevant email correspondence dated 22 July 2025 noting completed projects that were not included in the officer's report. So are you happy with that one, Councillor Barty? So could we've got Councillor Barty moving it. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Spanos seconding. Any more comment on this one? Those in favour? Carried. That's 7. That'll be the last one in this section. We might.
The late one.
Yeah, we'll go to that late one first. So you will go to 11.8, Development Activity Report, Q4 2024-2025 financial year. I'll hand over to Dan. Thank you, Dan.
Sorry.
Sorry.
At the ordinary meeting on 31 October 2024, Council endorsed a number of initiatives in relation to development activity reporting to Council. One of the initiatives related to the quarterly reporting of development activity in the region, specifically as relates to the number and type of applications received, housing trends and investment incentives. Today's agenda item represents the final development activity report for the 24-25 financial year and presents the data collected from April to June. While the number of newly approved lots this quarter was notably less than the previous one, the number of lots released to market was higher than the first and second quarters of 24-25. This can be attributed to the level of approved supply contained in multi-stage residential developments currently in progress throughout the region. New dwelling figures also remain steady, with around 40 dwellings being constructed per quarter. In total for the year, 46 new lots were endorsed and 149 new dwellings were constructed. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Do we have any questions for Dan? Councillor Kaji.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Yeah, it looks like there's a downward trend in development from the look of this. Yeah, so okay, so I don't have a specific question, but just it looks like there's a downward trend in this, and if you've seen it even, like this is in last year's, you know, we've only just been into this year. Is there, you see it continuing that way? Do you have a
Chair, I would probably say, and you can see this in the data, in the graphs in the development activity report, I'd say it's just a normalisation, you know, we're just basically coming out of, and this was expected. So, you know, we're coming out of the COVID spike, I guess. So we're just seeing the figures return to, you know, a more normal situation, business as usual, I guess.
Has the incentive policy been beneficial over the last 12 months, do you think?
Through the chair, I would say it has, although we have also seen a bit of a drop off in applications under the incentives policy. That said, the planners aren't actually the ones responsible for administering that, so if you wanted an update on that, that would probably have to come from the economic development officer. Yeah.
But it has helped.
Yes, I believe.
From a planning perspective,
I believe it has helped. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Any more questions for Dan? Okay, can we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Cardew. And a seconder, Councillor Spanos. Councillor Cardew?
No.
Those in favour? Carried, that's 7. We might have a break. What if we come back at about 10 to 10-minute break? Cup of tea, amenities, back at 10 to. Thank you. Okay, councillors, we'll reconvene. That brings us to item 12.1, request to seek expressions of interest at Atherton Transfer Station vacant buildings. I'll pass over to you, Charles. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. Good morning, councillors. Thanks for receiving the report or considering the report. Yeah, it's very basic, but it's seeking endorsement to conduct the expression of interest to try and find a community user for the shed at the Atherton Transfer Station that was previously the recycle mart. Yeah, I think the report says it all. Is there any particular questions about it?
Thank you. I'm pretty excited about this. So I just have a question about one of the paragraphs we've got here. Council holds an environmental authority license for the Atherton landfill and transfer station. It restricts the use of the site. Can you just give me a bit more information about what that is?
Probably should have said it may restrict the use of the site in terms of what these people might want to do with it.
Okay.
It's just hard to tell. It would be, the idea would be to get the expressions of interest back, find out the ones that at least meet zoning first, shortlist it, and then look at their individual proposals and then go back to the licensing and have a look.
Okay. So when people are putting that expression of interest in, are they aware of the zoning then?
Yeah, the zoning's public.
The
but
zoning's
we'll put it in the.
It'll be in the, yeah.
We'll
okay.
put it in there.
Yeah, yeah.
An example of the sort of thing though, like different landfills and transfer stations are licensed for different activities. So one that's come up recently is like our inability really to accept sludge waste at a landfill. So wet waste.
Okay, yep.
So that would be one example. Trying to think of others. The landfill component, we don't accept asbestos. In the transfer station component, we do accept asbestos because we transfer it. So it's a bit of a mix because there's the landfill site and there's also the transfer station component as well. So there's sort of different licensing activities for both those areas.
Okay, thank you. And just with the expression of interest, how long will that go out for and when are you planning on putting it out?
Well, as soon as possible.
So,
yeah.
It's got to be
through the chair. The expression of interest process is exactly the same as the tendering process. So we have an obligation to publish that for 21 business days, and then obviously we'll assess whatever proposals we'll get in, and we'll take a report back to council with hopefully a good selection, pre-selection of potential proponents, which we then would have to go out for tender for.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Any more questions?
I have a quick ask. Charles, if like for like went back into there and we agreed to it, can I just ask what happens with additional, let's say the stuff that we don't want actually, of those people don't want to sell, are they able to then put it in the bins at the transfer station at no cost? How does that work?
Well, there's no, through the chair, there's no straight answer now. That would be part of whatever lease agreement.
Okay, rightio.
We'd be working out details like that, like their insurance, their power, water, all that sort of stuff, including that, what they do with their rubbish.
Yeah, okay, so that's fine.
And if I may, through the chair, to add to that, so any recyclables that they may want to then have a later stage disposal, which would have to go to landfill, would be leviable under the waste levy, and we would still have to obviously at least recover our costs for paying the waste levy to the state for those materials.
So even if it's a non-for-profit, we would still have to cover those costs.
Yeah, the waste levy doesn't.
No, I appreciate that. No,
Doesn't
so
separate that, yeah.
just trying to get a handle on it. I've got some ideas.
Yeah, good question.
Thank you.
Final call for questions, councillors. Do we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Barty's moving. Councillor Spanos, sorry, Councillor Lang, I didn't see you. You need to talk to this one, Councillor Barty.
No, I just hope there's some really good applications, that's all. Yeah.
Those in favour? Carried, thank you. That's 7. So that brings us to item 13, Community and Corporate Services, 13.1, Preliminary Financial Report, June 2025. You talk to that earlier.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to present the preliminary report for June. I'd like to note that this report does not reflect the final results for the financial year, as the year-end processes and the final audit are yet to be completed. Once the audit is completed and the results are endorsed by the Queensland Audit Office, the year-end results will be reported to Council and the community via the annual report. I'd also like to note that while the current operating position shows a deficit result, the overall net position remains positive, which support cash balances and funding of future works. So just to reiterate, I've run this report at a point in time to meet reporting timeframes for this meeting. We are still in full swing of year-end activities, as my team can attest to. They're very busy at the moment, but the results are not yet finalised, and I'll have those to you as soon as possible. For the second officer's recommendation, I seek to endorse the reallocation of $410,000 to enable the finalisation of the Malanda Integrated Water Supply Project. This project wasn't quite completed by 3rd June as anticipated, so there's just that little bit more to go. This reallocation will not increase the total capital budget, rather reallocate funds from other projects that haven't yet commenced. But I'd also like to note for this one, up to the 30th of June, the Malanda Integrated Water Supply Project was underspent by $580,000. So this reallocation of 410 actually leaves this project a little bit cheaper than anticipated in the last financial year. The reallocation of these funds will enable us to finalise this project fairly early in this financial year. Then for the third, I have a few recommendations this month. For the third officer's recommendation, I present to you the interim audit report for the 24-25 year. This report presents findings of the Queensland Audit Office on activities up to the end of April 2025, so majority of the financial year. During this audit, no new deficiencies were identified, which is a great thing, and 6 prior year deficiencies were resolved. So all deficiencies identified are opportunities for us to make improvements, and we've worked through a number of those improvements already. Once year-end activities have been completed and the audit is finalised, we're expecting to close out a few further deficiencies that were identified in prior years as well. And this will be done once the evidence of improvements is made and can be analysed by the Queensland Audit Office. So some of those activities need those year-end processes to be completed, then they can validate that those improvements have been made. Thank you for your time on this report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Councillors, questions for Erica? Councillor Carter?
Mr Mayor, I've got questions, but probably more appropriate in the open session or in the when the item comes up.
Okay. Councillors, any questions? All right, do we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Lang and Councillor Spanos. Councillor Lang, would you like to talk to that?
No, you guys do a great job. Keep going.
All right. Councillor Carter.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Erica, for your overview. I appreciate that this may or may not be the final figure, as you've explained. However, this is what's presented in front of us. This is what our constituents are looking at the moment. So I'll ask the questions I was going to ask, and we'll go from there. My question is, I've got a couple of questions, and not so much to you, Eric, it's more to the general managers. I note in here that the operating expenses are over budget by about $4 million. So I'd like to ask, how has this happened? And the second part of that question, how are the general managers going to prevent this from happening in the future?
Through the chair, I think that's a very broad question to ask, which I cannot provide a detailed answer to exactly how that happened, but it would be a combination of factors, including additional requests throughout the year that were not budgeted for, additional reactive maintenance due to extended wet season, to maintain roads, all sorts of things. So I would suggest that to answer that question, we would need to actually await the finalisation of the financial report with all the right information in it, and then do an analysis of that and provide a separate report to council to actually explain what all the causes are of that overspend compared to the budget.
Yeah.
If I may, through the chair, so some notes that I can provide now based on the results. When you're looking at the expenses, employee benefits is that first line. As we're going through year-end processes and capitalising projects, which a previous manager has identified, when we were capitalising some of those projects, we've identified that there wasn't enough wages allocated to those projects. They had instead costed them incorrectly to the operational expense. So part of the year-end activities is realigning some of that expenditure. So there's quite a bit of that sits within the operational employment benefits component. It's just a missed allocation of a work order on a timesheet, essentially, that hits one account to the other, and that for us that's between operating and capital. So there's corrections that are still being made in that space. From the materials and services perspective, we have spent additional funds on roads. A lot of that was requested. We did make an adjustment for that detail within one of our budget reviews, but we have had some overspends in those. But again, we're going through and analysing some of those. We have identified that there's some further material expenses that have hit the wrong work order as well. So we're realigning all of that. So which is why one of the reasons why year end is we're really tidying everything up and making sure that everything is correct and sitting in the right allocations. So there's two large components that are there. The next largest item is within the depreciation. So with the CEO's support, we have been capitalising items that haven't been capitalised as they were due. So when a capital project has been delivered, there's a process that's required to turn that from work in progress to an asset, a capital asset. So that movement, then when that asset becomes an asset, depreciation is then triggered. So there's some catch-up depreciation in there from some old items that haven't been capitalised from prior years. So we had a bit of a catch-up in that space as well. So it's needed, and we do need to capitalise those items, but when we do, if they have been capitalised late, we do need to do the catch-up component of that depreciation as well. So we're hoping to do all of that to tidy up this financial year. We've got great support from officers and the executive now to do that, but that's some of the impact that we see. But it's just landed in the year that we're doing that tidy up, and that will smooth out as the annual depreciation flows now that that's activated. That's just a quick summary of three items.
Councillor Carter, is that a sufficient answer?
That's fine. I appreciate the fact that they're going to bring back a report later on with the explanations of why we've got overspend in areas and what we need to tighten up, because it refers to my next question. I'm led to believe we've got about 20 million in cash in the reserves.
So we're about 65 million at the moment in cash.
So whatever deficit we end up with comes out of our cash reserves, is that right?
Not completely. So one of the largest items of expenditure, so the depreciation expenditure isn't actually a cash expense, so we're not paying that depreciation to anybody. So from a cash perspective, the $22 million that we have there is reflective of the money really that we should be, it's reflective of consumption of assets. So what that money does then supports future renewals of the existing assets that we have. So it's essentially like a savings item. It reflects that we should be investing another $22 million into the renewals, which becomes our capital budget, but we show it as an expense, but it's not a cash expense as such, so it doesn't reduce our cash component, and that's that's 22 million out of that budget. The bottom line, so the net result is still quite positive, so that will increase. We're still receiving grants and reflecting those as we can within the financials. Based on the report that you're seeing today, that's $11 million. That's an increase in our cash component for the year based on that result. But that also does take into account that 22 million. So a deficit position does not reflect true, or just is not a one-for-one to our cash position. So that's the short answer.
I guess for me, like everyone's aware, finance is not my forte, so I struggle with it, but what my concerns are, and I've expressed them openly many times, is about the way we operate. And if we're operating in a manner that keeps drawing down on our cash reserves because of overspends in our operational space, we need to address that. And that's something that I keep talking about, bringing to the attention of the councillors, but we still don't seem to be, in my view, we don't seem to be making any inroads or gains in this space. We've got a potential deficit of $3 million, and it's chewing into our reserves, and we need to turn that around, in my view.
If I could just, through the chair, just to clarify that our performance operating spend to budget is usually really close. We don't have consistent overspends of budget. This year there have been some significant ones. A lot of those were actually as a result of requests from councillors to spend more, pay more attention to certain areas. I think what might be useful as part of the finalisation of the accounts is also to do an information session with councillors about the costs per service, so you can see where those operational spends are on each service and understand what the contributing factors are. So you can go through that in some detail.
I appreciate that, Hillary, and I'm glad that we're slowly starting to realise that we need to do things better. And anyway, I'll just leave it at that, and thank you.
Well, look, I think following on from that, I think it is important that officers come back, because we do need a point of truth, because I don't know that everything that's been said is completely accurate. So if we come back and we get a detailed session, then we know where the point of truth is. You know, at the moment, I'm not sure where the point of truth is, and I appreciate we haven't wrapped up the 24-25 year yet. So. Any more questions for Erica? Okay, can we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Sorry, is it moved? Sorry. So Councillor Lang and Councillor Spanos have moved. Final call. Those in favour? Carried, thank you. 7. Okay, councillors, that brings us to item 13.2, 2025-26 procurement policy. Who's talking to that one? Thanks. Thanks, Erica. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm pleased to present to you the procurement policy for endorsement. As required from the local government regulation, an annual review has been completed over this policy. While there have been some wording changes made, these updates do not change the previous intent of the policy, rather have been made to improve clarity for officers and for the community. A track changes version has been included with this report to assist with the identification of these updates. I do understand that can be a little messy, but I've tried to include that for transparency. The final attachment to this report reflects the financial delegations that support this policy and provides an easy reference for staff undertaking procurement activities. Following review of delegations across our neighbouring councils and with a view of ensuring efficient, effective and compliant procurement activities, the CEO's delegation is proposed to change from 200,000 to 1 million. Our neighbouring council CEO delegations range from 500,000 to 15 million, so our 200,000 was quite low, all but one being $1 million more or more. So thank you for taking the time to review this report, but happy to take questions.
Questions for Erica on this one? Councillor Cardew?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Erica, is that final page of that with the delegation listed there? Is that a new addition to that policy?
Yes, so previously that information was essentially held in the system, so it was part of our delegations.
That explains why I couldn't find it.
Yes.
No markup.
So we've pulled it out as a supporting document. It will actually go towards our procedure that our officers follow, as well as being part of the systems. And then in future held within our delegations register as well.
Any more questions for Erica? Okay, seeking a mover for the officer's recommendation. So I'm happy to move that. I think this is a really important item, so I'm happy to move that. A seconder. Councillor Bilney is seconding that. Councillors, we've discussed this at our information sessions. Look, it's important. You know, we're an organisation that this year's budget is $148 million. It's an amazing budget, and it's a lot of money in anyone's language. But you know, the way that we're managing some of these processes hasn't really caught up with how the council's grown. So when Erica presented the other councils similar to us that have much bigger delegations, There's reasons for that. I mean, I think it's absolutely appropriate at the level of delegation that we're proposing here for, you know, for the size of our council and the amount of business that we do. And the fact that we're currently at $200,000 delegation level, you know, it's from another time. As an organisation, we need to accept that we've moved on. Can I add that all payments made to suppliers and creditors by the organisation are already approved expenditure in our budget. So we've already approved that these investments be made in these various projects. It's already been approved. This is actually, you know, signing the cheque, transferring the money to pay the account that we've already approved in our expenditure we've approved in our budget. The delegation does not allow payments be made beyond expenditure already approved. In the event that such a request came in for a payment that wasn't approved, well, it's got to come to council. If that expenditure hasn't been approved, well, it's got to come to council anyway. It can't, the organisation can't legally pay it. Having a low delegation threshold, you know, at 200,000, for example, doesn't add any rigour to council business. It simply adds another process. So basically what would happen is, if we had to pay a creditor or supplier by a certain date, we'd have to convene a special meeting, we'd have to do a report, and then we'd have to basically look at the invoice or trigger point from the creditor or supplier and say, yeah, we've got to pay it by next week. It's not bringing any rigour, it's just bringing an extra process. And we always talk about wanting to streamline the organisation. So this is one way we can do it, and $1 million is not excessive. If you look at councils right throughout the state, I imagine we would be one of the lowest at 200,000. Perhaps Indigenous councils might be different, but for councils of our size, it's a very low figure. So look, I just want us to be thinking about, you know, how we streamline the organisation. What can we do in terms of reducing our process? You know, just in this area, we can reduce our process in this area just by lifting that delegation. And look, I fully support it. Councillors, I'd like to go next. Councillor Billman.
Yeah, through the chair. My argument's also based on supporting an increase in that delegation. The change is about enabling a more efficient and effective decision-making tool within Tablelands Regional Council. By increasing the delegation, we are allowing the CEO to respond more quicker to operational needs, particularly for projects and procurement decisions that are time sensitive or high value. Delays in approval processes can cost both time and money, and we all certainly know that in local government, every dollar and every day counts. This level of delegation is not unusual. Now, we need to understand that. For some reason, we want to keep it really tight. It aligns the best practice in councils and similar scale and responsibility. It reflects, it's a true reflection of the trust that we are placing in the CEO to manage council's daily operations while keeping council focused on its strategic role. Crucially, the proposal includes a commitment to transparency. I think this is an important compromise for council that we need to consider. That is, the CEO will provide a monthly updates to council on any use of this increased delegation. That means we retain full visibility and accountability, ensuring that our governance responsibilities are upheld while reducing red tape. It's the checks and balances that we're being asking for. In short, this is a balanced, responsible step that strengthens our ability to serve our community efficiently without compromising oversight or integrity.
Thanks, councillor Billney. Councillor Hayden.
Okay. Many times we're told we are not other councils in Queensland. So the 200,000 has worked for years, so why change now? Councillors are elected to represent the community's interests and financial decisions should remain under their control. So, financial delegations reduces the opportunity for elected members to review and approve expenditure. So I'll be supporting this.
Thanks, councillor Hayden. Councillors?
I just believe, through the chair, I just believe this is the wrong time for us to be changing something so soon. With all due respect to the CEO, you've been here for 6 or 10 weeks, what is it now, 8 weeks? Whatever.
5 months.
5 months, excuse me.
Actually,
that's
nearly 6 months.
That's just flown, sorry. But with respect to you, CEO, I would like to see us maybe bring this back to the table at another time. However, at the moment, I'm not comfortable raising it either. I think it gives me an opportunity for transparency. I get to see a lot more. I feel that way. I know it's all allocated in budgets and that we do that well and truly early. However, I still feel being all over it and maybe hearing about it more frequently means that I'm in touch with things. So I could be comfortable with this coming back to us at another point, but right at the minute, I'm not comfortable with it either. Just so you guys know.
Thanks, councillor Spannell. Councillors, councillor Cardew.
Yeah, thanks. I too won't be supporting it. I was part of the previous council where we took this delegation away from the CEO and brought it back to 200,000 for a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons that was my biggest concern was that the delegation was being used to approve certain things and we weren't aware of it, our councillors weren't aware of it, and we'd be pulled up in the main street or somewhere or get a phone call, say, what's going on here? And we knew nothing of it. So I won't be putting my hand up for this either. It's worked the way it's worked for the last 4 to 5 years the way it's been, and I can't see any reason at this point in time to change it. Thank you.
Councillors? Well, look, councillors, if no one else is going to talk, I'll just use my right of reply. I think we need to, we need to think about what our role is. We approve the budget, we approve expenditure on projects, we approve expenditure on everything. So when you think about this, we're actually invoking a whole separate process for an organisation that's getting busier and busier. $148 million budget, and we can't sign off on a $200,000 payment. I worked that out last night. It's, $200,000 is 0.135% of $148 million. So you work it out like that, and if you make a comparison with your household and transpose that across, it means you can't go to the supermarket without getting approval from your family. If you set up a corporate structure, you can't pay your electricity bill, you can't do anything. So look, I just think, we're a big enough organisation now. We've got systems in place. We'll get a monthly report of the delegations that have been activated in that month. Having to go to a meeting does not add any rigour. It just adds process. It's not adding any rigour. All right, I'll leave it at that. Those in favour of the officer's recommendation? Okay, that's defeated. Yeah, I've got Councillor Hayden, Councillor Cardew, Councillor Barty, Councillor Spannell. All right, that brings us to item, sorry,
No,
Sorry.
not turn to motion.
What?
Leave it. It's up there. I send it around.
Well, that's where it is now. There's nothing changed.
Okay.
So through the chair, it would allow us to adopt the new procurement policy though, so.
Oh, okay,
Have
gotcha.
to do it annually.
Gotcha. Okay, so councillor Hayden has got an alternative up there. And councillor Hayden, are you happy with that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so the alternative motion up there is that council adopt the 2025-26 procurement policy pursuant to 196 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, 198 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and B, financial delegations for the CEO supporting the procurement policy remains at $200,000 pursuant to section 260 of the Local Government Act 2009. So we've got a mover there, councillor Hayden. Can we have a seconder? Councillor Cardew is seconding. Councillor Hayden.
No, I'm happy to leave it there because it's been working for years and I'd like to see it left there and we can visit this later on in the year.
Councillors? Okay, those in favour? That's carried. So that's 4-3. Yeah, we just need to confirm the reasons, councillor Hayden. So we can get those drafted.
So the 200,000 has worked for years. So. For years and
Just leave it at that.
we want to keep going.
Happy to revisit it.
Yeah.
Happy to, you said,
Yeah, and I'm
happy to
happy to
revisit it
revisit
another
it.
time.
It gets reviewed every year.
Yeah, well,
Has to
there
be
you go.
reviewed
Well,
every
there
year.
you go.
You happy with that?
Look, this was in the operational process, and the policy wasn't as independent. That's why it was in that last.
So we write reasons? Is that sufficient? Yep. Okay, thank you. And I think councillor Lang, you voted against that, did you? Yeah, councillor Lang too. Thanks, Jackie. All right, so that's 13.2 done.
4-3?
4-3, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't see the hands.
So 13.3, Q4 2024-25 performance report. Who might be talking to that one?
Me.
Thank you. I'll go to Hillary, our GM. Thank you.
Thank you, and through the chair, I'm happy to present the operational performance report for the final quarter of the 24-25 financial year. The report presents our quarter 4 performance against KPIs and progress against initiatives in the operational plan. We also now have a full data set from the new after-hours service provider, and it's really pleasing to see that data confirms the anecdotal evidence we've received about the improvement in performance of our after-hours service. Thanks, councillors. I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions? No questions. Can I have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Spanos? Councillor Barty? Councillor Spanos?
No, I have nothing.
Councillors? Those in favour? You're not voting on that one, Councillor Cardew? No. So that's 6-1. (13.4) PRC Queensland Privacy Principles Policy. Thanks, Amanda. over to you.
Through the chair. So today I present to you a TRC Queensland Privacy Principles Policy as per the legislative requirement under the Information Privacy and Other Legislation Amendment Act 2023. So the new policy is presented to Council for adoption to ensure Council practices are consistent with the law. So the officer's recommendation is that Council resolve to adopt the TRC Queensland Privacy Principles Policy, lots of things in there, and delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer to develop and amend any associated procedures and guidelines relevant to the policy.
Councillors? Councillor Cardew?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is all new and required to us under legislation by the sounds of it. But just another nail in the coffin from the state government. Thanks very much. What's the, when's it reviewed again? When's the policy due for review again? Is it 12 months or is it?
So standard policy for review of this type is every 3 years, but obviously if there's any legislation changes, we would need to review in accordance with those.
Seeing as it's a new one, a new policy, would it be fair to review it in 12 months?
If there's no changes to the legislation, then there wouldn't be a requirement for change to the policy, but yes, so if we need to, or if there is any changes that we want to consider in relation to how we're managing data, and how we're managing confidential information, then happy to bring that back to Council if there's a requirement to do so.
So if I could, through the chair, Councillor Cardew, are you suggesting that because it's new, that we put a provisional time period on it so that councillors can have an opportunity to
working or
reconsider
we're
and
doing
see
the
how
right
it's?
thing? Yeah, that's all I'm suggesting.
Yeah,
I'm not
so-
suggesting anything else. It just because it's brand new and it's all legislative and it's all brand new,
Yeah.
let's just shorten it up so it can bring back in 12 months just to have a look at. It might be working fine, so it just goes through, no problem, but let's just shorten that up for 1 year, just to see how it's working.
So I think, just to clarify, whilst it's, and the principles are new, the policy does actually replace a previous policy that we had, but yes, so I think that would be fine to include a sort of a 12-month review date, just so that we can revisit it with council.
Yeah.
Any more questions for Amanda? All right, we have a mover of the officer's recommendation. Councillor Lang and Councillor Cardew. Councillor Lang. Happy with that? Councillor Cardew.
I'd like to move that we amend it, have a minor amendment to the policy to bring it back for review in 12 months' time.
It's up there.
Was it up there? Oh, I didn't, okay, that's fine.
It is hard to see.
Yeah,
There's a
because
lot
of the
heads
one
here.
screen, that's
He's already captured, good on you, Jackie.
Yeah.
all over, Jackie.
So we've got a mover and a seconder. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you.
We don't know.
Okay, that brings us to item 13.5, Grant Program 1 April to 20 June 2025, Expenditure and Acquittals. Thank you.
Good morning to the chair. Good morning, council. I am pleased to present this report, which provides an update on the TRC grant program for Q3 of the 2024-25 financial year. The full budget allocation was extended by early May, highlighting steady interest and uptake from the community throughout the year. Q4 supported a smaller number of applications, assisting community groups and youth with costs related to sporting and academic pursuits. The program continues to play an important role in supporting grassroots initiatives and responding to local priorities. Additional detail on Q4 outcomes and acquittals is included in attachment 1.
Thank you. Any questions?
You're not going to hear me, Joe.
All right, do we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Bilney and Councillor Spanos. Councillor Bilney?
Yeah, through the chair, I just, quarter four, obviously, there was a dilution of available funds. So it just, I've said consistently, it's just a reflection of the success of this grant program. Thank you to the staff that administer it as well. Had some really good feedback from community groups that are making the application, going through the application process, and it is all positive. So I thank you for that. I just can't recall in the budget that we just did, is it similar amounts that we've got in that budget for that 100,000? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, obviously that's a good amount to support community. And at budget day, I did suggest that 2.74% of our money is returned back into the community projects such as these. So well done, thank you. That wasn't a question.
Very good, thank you. Councillors, we've got a mover and seconder. Those in favour? Carried. That's 7. Well done.
Good news story.
Yeah. Okay, item 14, councillors. Notice of motion. Item 15, business without notice. Councillor.
Business without notice for the LJQ motion.
Yes, okay. Thanks, Councillor Barty.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so yeah, the motion's up there. So it's 2025 Local Government Association of Queensland Annual Conference motion for better resourcing for the biosecurity management of state-controlled land. I'd just like to move the motion that Council lodge a motion requesting better resourcing for the biosecurity management of state-controlled land for the 2025 Local Government Association Queensland Annual Conference.
Very good. Is councillors any comments?
I need a seconder.
Yeah. Sorry. Good point. So can we have a seconder first? Councillor Cardew, seconding, and have officers checked that they're happy with the wording? Is it? Is that
through the chair? I'm happy with the wording.
You're happy with the wording? Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. Councillors, any? Yeah, sure, Mary. Yeah. I'll go to Councillor Vardy, sure.
This motion calls for the state government to increase investment in managing invasive species on state-controlled land to reduce biosecurity risks faced by local councils. Councils and private landholders work hard to meet their responsibilities under local biosecurity plans, but their efforts are undermined when neighbouring state land is poorly maintained. Invasive species don't respect property lines and boundaries. Without consistent control measures across all land tenures, infestations easily spread from neglected state land onto council or private property, undoing costly local work. Effective biosecurity requires more than just weed spraying. It depends on proactive land management practices like slashing, erosion repair and revegetation. These activities enable long-term control, reduce future maintenance costs and support environmental resilience. Despite repeated advocacy from local government, the state's investment has declined, with some departments showing limited concern and insufficient resources. This is not an isolated issue, the impacts are felt statewide. By supporting this motion, the LJQ can strengthen council's collective voice to ensure state land is maintained to the same standard expected of council and landholders, ultimately protecting communities, agriculture, natural assets and regional economies from invasive species threats. Thanks, Tudor.
Thanks, Councillor Vardy. Councillors, anyone like to talk on this one? No? Okay, we've got a mover and seconder. Those in favour? Carried. 7. Thank you. Okay, business without notice. Okay, so that brings us to our confidential section, councillors. Okay, so I'll just read the confidential provision here, that in accordance with section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the meeting will close at this part of the meeting to the public for the reasons and matters noted. 16.1, sole and specialised suppliers. 16.3, TTRC 2025-08 Packhorse Creek Causeway. 16.4, 2025-26 Regional Bitumen Reseal Program. 16.5, QTRC 2025-13 Fig Street Footpath Upgrade Stage 2. Paragraph G, negotiations relating to a commercial matter involving the local government for which a public discussion would be likely to prejudice the interests of the local government. And finally, 16.2, community revegetation nursery operation D, clause D, industrial matters affecting employees. So could I have a mover and seconder that we go into confidential on that basis? Thanks. Councillor Lang moving, and Councillor Barty. Those in favour? Carried, that's 7. Okay, councillors, we'll now continue on. Item 16.1, sole and specialised suppliers. Do we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Lang is moving. And a seconder? Councillor Spanos. Those in favour? Carried, thank you. Item 16.2, community revegetation nursery operation. Councillor Bilney.
Yeah, I'd like to move option A, please. Yeah.
Councillor Bilney's moving option A. Councillor Barty is seconding. Those in favour? Carried. Was your hand up, Councillor Spence?
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. So yeah, we had Councillor Hayden, Councillor Spanos and Councillor Cardew again. Item 16.3, Packhorse Creek Causeway. Councillors, do we have a mover of the officer's recommendation? Councillor Barty. And, sorry, was that Councillor Hayden? Yeah, Councillor Hayden, seconding. And those in favour? Carried. That's 6. Councillor Cardew against on that one. Jackie?
Yep.
16.4, regional bitumen, 16.4, 2025-26 regional bitumen reseal program. A mover of the officer's recommendation. Councillor Barty. Councillor Bilney. Those in favour? Carried, that's 7. And that brings us to 16.5, QTRC 2025-13 Fig Street Footpath Upgrade Stage 2. We have a mover of the officer's recommendation, Councillor Barty and Councillor Spanos. Those in favour? Carried, that's 5-2. So that's Councillor Lang and Councillor Hayden against. Last one. That's it. Thanks very much, councillors.